This is definitely one of the most overlooked aspects of exercise. I think when we think about exercise, we're obviously thinking about like the gym time, the time that we're on the treadmill, the time we're out jogging, whatever. And really, exercise is all about the adaptation that we get. And adaptation, I mean by that, is the change that our body goes through. A lot of us don't go to the gym because it's like fun, or we enjoy the time, or it's like, you know, our happy place. A lot of us go there because there's a change that we need. And really, the thing that will allow you to keep showing up in the gym is this that we're talking about right now, the time in between your workouts, whether that has been 20 years since you've worked out or whether it's just been 48 hours since you've worked out. These are things that you could apply if you're thinking about, it's time for me to start moving again.
Welcome to the Exercise is Health podcast, where we're talking about exercise, health, and the interconnectedness of the two. We are your hosts, Charlie
and Julie,
and we will be coming to you every single week from our studio, Muscle Activation Schaumburg. Hey, welcome back, everybody, to the Exercise is Health podcast. We are your hosts, Charlie
and Julie,
and we're coming to you from our studio, Muscle Activation Schaumburg in Schaumburg, Illinois. Now, at Muscle Activation Schaumburg, we believe your health is your most valuable asset. Your health is one of the biggest influencers of the quality and quantity of time that you have. And while there are many aspects of health, our expertise is exercise. Exercise has been proven time and again to not only improve your health, but also increase your longevity and improve your quality of life. And if you are looking to increase your longevity and improve your quality of life in 2020, then we have an event that's coming up in April that you are not going to want to miss. It's called the Schaumburg Health Summit. And if you haven't heard about it, you definitely need to check it out. Julie, you want to tell them more?
So on April 4th, 2020, we are doing the second ever Schaumburg Health Summit. And if you guys joined us last year or heard about it last year, you know that we are bringing to you top health experts in the area talking and explaining really interesting new concepts that they are finding in their field, and all with actionable items so that you're able to start taking action and change in your health. As you know, we always have really great guests on this podcast, and because we know exercise is not the only piece of the puzzle, and we're going to be looking to have medical professionals, nutritional professionals, exercise people, stress professionals. And so a whole compilation of different aspects in the health field are going to be coming to you in April of 2020. So make sure you check it out at www.schaumburghealthsummit.com. Tickets are on sale already. Also, if you're listening to this and you think you might want to sponsor and help us spread the message of what you do, we are now accepting sponsorship applications, so you can go to the sponsorship tab and fill out the application.
Awesome. So go to SchaumburgHealthSummit.com to learn more about the event, to learn more about how to sponsor, and to see what we have going on during this year's Schaumburg Health Summit on April 4th. Now, this week, we've been talking to you about preparedness, how to prepare your body for your workouts, which we'll get in later today, but also how to prepare your life for being healthy overall. And on that note, we've brought in an expert to tell you more about things that you can do in your life, in your home, and in your pantry to help make sure that things are organized and you are prepared for healthy living. So we want to introduce you to Jenny Abrams, who's the owner of Abrams Home Solutions, which is a professional home organizing service, to give you more details about what you can do to organize your pantry for a healthy 2020. Jenny, thank you so much for joining us and welcome to our show.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. I've listened to you guys from day one, and now I feel like it's such an honor to actually be here across the table from you. Thank you.
Jenny, I think you are actually our first positive review.
Yes.
Like we personally knew you from the local business chamber, and then you reviewed us, and we were like, we got our first review.
Yes.
Jenny reviewed us. Yay. So thank you so much for being such a loyal fan, and we're excited for you to really add some value to this podcast.
Thank you, you guys. Yeah, I feel like getting healthy and getting organized are two of the most common New Year's resolutions. Mm-hmm. And I think they can go hand in hand. I think one way to get healthy is to have an organized pantry. And that's some of the information I want to give you today. I also think it helps with meal planning. And if people are trying to kick off the new year with some healthier meal planning or integrate meal planning and healthier cooking into their daily routine, having an organized pantry is certainly one of the ways to help get that started.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely. So what are some things that you suggest that our listeners start doing with their pantry in order to help them live a healthier life?
So the first thing they want to do is literally take everything out.
Oh, nice.
And I know that sounds a little overwhelming to start with, but it's really the best way to organize is by taking everything out and seeing what you have. If you try to organize while everything's in there, you're kind of rearranging, you're not really organizing it. So you really want to take everything out and start sorting it into some basic categories. It might be grains, pasta, breakfast, snacks, whatever your categories are. Have some bins handy, some large bins, and start putting those into some categories. It's the best way to see what you really have. It's the best way to see the inventory, the volume of each of your categories. And it's really a great way then to lead into the next step, which is purging.
Well, I like that a lot because I know that like on your Instagram stories, you always show like you're organizing somebody's closet, and I'll flip through. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's a lot of stuff they had in their closet. and so I'm sure, that's a really good step for people to realize just how much stuff they actually have in their pantries.
Absolutely.
And how much they haven't used for a while. So I love that first step.
Yeah, and once you see what you have then and you're pulling everything out, you can check the expiration dates. And there's no shame here. We all have expired food in our pantry, things we bought one ingredient for a recipe and then we forgot about it because we only used half the bottle or whatever. But it's a good time to really think, am I going to use this again? If it's not expired, you can donate it if it's not opened yet to a local food pantry. That's a great way to give back. If it is opened or if it is expired, let it go. It's like anything else. If I'm organizing a closet, we give you the permission. It's okay to let things go. I know you spent money on it, but if it's not going to be something you're going to use, like clothing, it's okay to let it go. So purge out the things you're not going to use that are expired, and then you really have a good idea of what's left, and like I said, the categories, the volume of it, and then you can move forward with the next steps of organizing.
Yeah, nice.
And I'd like to say purge the stuff that you don't want to be eating. People always tell Charlie and I, wow, you guys have probably like the best self-discipline. And I'm like, yeah, Charlie does, but I do not. Like if ice cream comes home from the grocery store, I will be eating it for a week. Or if I buy a thing of cookies. So I always tell my clients, like, you're allowed to throw it away. Like, just because you wanted one cookie doesn't mean that you need to eat the rest of the 50.
Yeah.
You're allowed to throw that stuff away, and it's actually probably serving you better in the garbage can than, in your gut.
Yes.
So I wanted to add that part.
I think that's a great point. Why not take this time to get rid of some of the things that aren't so healthy for you and for your whole family members so that, everybody's on board and can start the year off, with meeting the goals that you've set for yourself.
Sweet. So they've taken everything out. They've thrown away what's not serving them, what they don't want, what's expired, and then what do they do? So
then they're going to want to see what they have left and assign a home, quote unquote, a home to the categories that remain. And what you want to think about here is what needs to be lower to the ground, what needs to be higher up. So if you have kids, for example, and you want them to be able to get their own snacks, you're going to put that in a zone that's closer down to the floor that they can reach. If you have things you don't want them to reach or things that you use less frequently, you're going to put that higher up. So you kind of strategize some homes and some zones for the categories that you have. And then the next step is to start putting those things away in some organizing product.
Nice.
So you want to have some bins, maybe some Lazy Susans, maybe some can risers for cans or for spices so that you can view everything. But you want to make sure that everything is viewable, that nothing is hiding in the back or in corners that you can then, forget about again and it gets expired.
Sure.
One thing that I think we've started adding in with our pantry, especially like with our oats and stuff, is we've taken it out of its original container and put it in like a clear container that we can see how much we have and whatnot. And,
Yes.
I've really liked that because then I always know how much we have. I know when to add it to our shopping list.
Yes.
Do you think that's a reasonable thing to do?
Absolutely. I always recommend food storage containers because, like you said, people can see visually how much they have when they need to shop for it again. So they're not wasting so much food. At the grocery store, maybe I need this, I don't remember. They have a visual reminder of when it's time to replenish that. And what you can do is add a little label to the back of that container with the cooking instructions and the expiration.
Nice.
'Cause that's the biggest question I get is, well, if I throw the box away, how am I going to know how long this is good for?
Sure.
And honestly, those containers keep your food fresher longer than keeping it in the box anyway. And it saves you space because the box has so much air.
Sure, yeah.
And it wastes space in your pantry. So getting it into those food storage saves you room, helps you with your meal planning. And like I said, just put a little sticker on the back with the expiration or the cooking instructions, and that's all you need. You don't need the box.
That's sweet. And I would even throw in there also the nutrition label.
Yeah.
So, if we were thinking about like for myself, I need to know like how many carbohydrates are in things and whatnot.
Yes.
And so that label ends up being very important. So maybe that's another thing to add in too.
Yeah, definitely.
Sweet.
Yeah, you can either cut that out and tape it on the back, or again, if you have a label maker, add that to your label.
Yeah, nice.
Definitely.
Or if you have Jenny come over, she has
Right.
a label maker. Trust me, she's got a label maker.
It's in my bag right now. I never go anywhere without it.
Well, and
love it.
also, Charlie and I are like Costco crazy people. And so, like, we don't want our pantry looking like a bulk store selection aisle. So we use the containers because it's so nice. Like we have a little container of all the snacks and then, baking section and then oats, because we kind of eat the same thing over and over again. I think a lot of people do.
Most
probably,
people do.
actually.
Yeah.
And so I think that's nice so that we don't look like we literally have a Costco aisle in our pantry.
You know what? And so if you have a nearby closet or the garage or somewhere else where you can store some of that overflow, that's a great idea. You don't need to have everything in the pantry. Sure. You can have what you expect to use over the next few weeks, but then designate some other area for the overflow that you can pull from when you need it.
Nice.
That's great.
Yeah, that's really good. So, all right. So they've cleaned out everything. They've purged. They've found a home. They've organized according
But
to
the home is in like the zones.
Categorized.
Right.
Homes and zones.
Homes are in the zones, based on, like the type of food or who needs to be accessing the food or anything like that. Is there anything else that they should be doing to kind of wrap it all up or make sure that, they're going to be streamlined for finding their healthy food for 2020?
Yes, definitely. So the last step in the process is to create your system to maintain the space you've organized.
That's big.
So that could be labeling, as we've mentioned, labeling the shelves, labeling the bins themselves. I label like crazy. There's you can't over label. But also if you're doing this and you're the mom or you're the dad of your household, give your family a quote unquote tour of your new space. Show them where things are located. The more they see it and know where to put things back to, the more likely you are to maintain the space and not have it backslide.
Yeah, I would say that's probably one of the biggest steps to making sure it stays, like you're saying, well organized and everything stays maintained. I mean, I know that, hey, if I put something back not in the right place, it's like, well, where the heck did I put it? I have to disrupt everything else just to find it again.
Yes.
So that's, I'm sure, really big.
Especially with a pantry, because so many people are using it. I mean, if you live alone, that's one thing. But if you're part of a family, you may have 4 or 5 people accessing that space on a daily basis multiple times. And it's okay if it backslides a little bit. You have to ask yourself, why did that happen? What worked? What didn't work? What could I change about it so that I can make it work more long term, for my family? So it's okay. But the more people get used to where things are located and take the time to put those things back, which they can visually see by those labels, the more likely you are to maintain it long term. And then use it, every week when you're meal planning, go in there, see what you're running low on, see what you still have enough of. Use that as, your guide for meal planning and kind of checking in on your inventory.
That's awesome.
That's great. I love it. I also feel like it always, when my spaces are organized, then I feel like I can make better choices too, because you put things in there that you want to be accessing, and you take things out that you don't.
Yes.
And I always feel like it's like the best feeling whenever I clean out my pantry, because it's like, it's like, when does this onion skin was from like 5 years ago, or like, all that. I'm like, and also like if people are listening and following us, they know that Charlie and I, we change our diet all the time to try to fine tune things and be healthier. And so our pantry is always changing. Like I'll find things in there that I'm like, canned tuna. We don't eat canned tuna. We haven't eaten canned tuna for like 5 years. But then like I remember we used to, you know, and I'm not saying that's healthy or not healthy. It's just not in our routine right now.
Right.
So it's just like, get that out.
Yes.
It's not serving you. It's not helping you. And I think people would just be better at making decisions and choices.
Absolutely. Yeah. We all have limited space and limited real estate. And so if something is in there that you're not using, especially if it doesn't fit in with your meal planning and your healthy goals for the year, get it out. It doesn't need to waste up, that precious real estate. It's just better to put things in there that you are going to use and have them accessible to you. When you've decluttered, everything is accessible to you. Yeah. And you've spent time, money, energy investing in this space, and then you're more likely to follow through on those healthy goals because you've invested in it now. You've put the time and energy in. Maybe you've spent money on organizing product, so now you're more likely to follow through on those healthy goals you're setting.
That's awesome. That's
great tips,
stuff.
Jenny.
Yeah, thank you so much for those. Now,
thank you.
Where can people find out more about you? Where can they follow you on social? How can they connect with you if they're like, okay, this was great for my pantry, but I have my garage, I have my basement, I have my closets, I have I have the entire rest of my house. How can people connect with you and learn more about you?
Thank you. So I'm pretty active on Facebook and Instagram, so they can find me at Abrams Home Solutions. It's ABRAMS Home Solutions, as well as my website, abramshomesolutions.com. And for your listeners, I actually created an ebook with my pantry organizing tips.
Nice.
So when they go onto my website, they'll see a little area to subscribe for my Get Organized in 2020 ebook. And when they sign in for that, they subscribe to that, then they also will get the pantry ebook as well.
Oh, sweet.
Yes.
Awesome. So go to abramshomesolutions.com.
Exactly.
And it's solutions plural.
Correct.
Okay.
There's an S on the end.
Fantastic. And there will be a sign up button for the newsletter, and you'll get the ebook sent.
Absolutely. It'll be sent almost automatically.
Well, that'll be sweet.
Right.
Yes.
And what's your Instagram handle? Because people definitely need to follow you. Because one thing that you do at the end of every month, you give a recap of like everything you did during the past month.
Yes.
I always think that's so cool.
Thank you.
Yeah. So definitely check her out on Instagram. But what's your Instagram handle?
It's Abrams Home Solutions,
Perfect.
all spelled out. Same thing as Facebook.
I love it.
Yes.
Right
thank
on.
you.
Well, Jenny, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to
Thanks,
you as
guys.
well. Definitely.
Thank you.
Now, to continue on with the theme that Jenny was talking about preparing your pantry in order to have a healthier 2020, we want to tell you about things that you can do to prepare your body to make sure that you are ready for your workouts. Because one of the challenges that we see come up time and again with people is they go and they work out, and they start their workout and they stop their workout. And then there's a time where they're not working out, and then they go back and they start their workout and they stop their workout. And they continue on with that cycle until one day they go to start their workout, but their body is not ready to actually start their workout. And so you have this gap. You have this gap between when you stop one workout and you start your next, where you can utilize that time to help promote the recovery of your body from your last workout and to help prepare your body for your next workout in order to be able to keep working out. And the thing that we see come up time and again is when people don't spend time preparing their body for their next workout, eventually they have to stop working out, because eventually they try to work out when they're not ready to. And that's when injuries happen. That's when excessive achiness and soreness happens. And that ultimately leads them to stop working out. So if you want to be able to work out for the long haul, then making sure that your body is prepared to work out every time you go to work out is going to be a key component to that. So that's what I want to talk with you about today.
This is definitely one of the most overlooked aspects of exercise. I think when we think about exercise, we're obviously thinking about like the gym time, the time that we're on the treadmill, the time we're out jogging, whatever. And really, exercise is all about the adaptation that we get. And adaptation, I mean by that, is the change that our body goes through. Because we don't go to the gym because it's like, I mean, some of us do. A lot of us don't go to the gym because it's like fun, or we enjoy the time, or it's like, our happy place. A lot of us go there because there's a change that we need, right? Whether that is, priming our bodies to be healthier, to be more efficient, to be better at metabolizing sugar, whatever it is for you, you're not there because it's like #happy place, love it. It's not that. And really the thing that will allow you to keep showing up in the gym is this that we're talking about right now, the time in between your workouts, whether that has been 20 years since you've worked out or whether it's just been 48 hours since you've worked out. These are things that you could apply if you're thinking about, it's time for me to start moving again, whether that means, a stroll around your neighborhood or going to the gym or going to a class or whatever the activity is that you're going to be doing. Because let's face it, to be healthy, you actually have to do the workouts. You don't have to enjoy them. You don't have to want to keep doing them, but you just have to do them. You just have to do them. And when you're not doing them, you're not getting those health benefits. And that's the big problem. So these tips are designed to help you continue to show up. Kind of like what Charlie said with you're going for the long haul. You have to keep exercising to keep getting the health benefits. So really it is what's happening between the workouts.
Now, there are a lot of things to consider when talking about, all right, how to recover from a workout and how to prepare your body for the next workout. I mean, we're talking about making sure that you're getting quality sleep, making sure that you are eating good foods, and the timing of when you're eating post-workout and timing of when you're eating before you work out, and, making sure that you're managing your mental, emotional stressors and everything like that. And that's all fine and well, but there are some very specific things you can also do physically for your body to help prepare you for your workouts. And so one of those things that you can do to make sure that your body is ready for your next workout is to make sure, even on a non-workout day, that you're still being active, that you're still moving around, that you're still getting up and walking throughout your day, that it's not just hey, I'm just going to sit on the couch and, binge watch Netflix all day. It's, I'm getting up and I'm moving throughout my day to make sure that you're using your body, you're moving your joints, and even if it's a very low level of exertion, just getting up and moving consistently throughout your day and making that a common habit will, one, it will help you to recover from what you've done before, and two, it will make sure that it will help promote the preparedness of your body for your next workout. So this is actually a really big thing that I think kind of gets overlooked in the whole 10,000 steps idea, where, we think, we need to, make sure that we're doing 10,000 steps or whatever, however many steps you want to take every day to be healthy. And that's all fine and well, but there's actually a tremendous benefit to just moving throughout your day to make sure that when it's time to really work out hard, that your body's ready for it, that you just haven't been lounging around for the past, day or 2 days or however long it's been since your last workout.
You're totally right, Charlie. And I think the general theme that you're getting at there is that there's a time and place for intensity and concentration of exertion. And there's a time and place for this low level, something you do throughout your day kind of exertion. I think the problem, as you brought up with the 10,000 steps a day thing, is runners love that. They do their 5-mile run in the morning and they've already hit 18,000 steps. Well, now they're done for the day. Wrong, right? They have to be moving throughout the day outside of that hour or however long it took them to exercise. And definitely that is something that definitely prepares your body. In addition to the low level of movement throughout your day, which can sometimes be counted by steps, can sometimes be counted other ways, is moving your joints, not just your legs or the things that create steps, making sure you're getting mobility, full range of motion in your trunk and spine, in your shoulders and elbows and wrists. All of these areas, I think, often have these very high concentrations of work time, like if you type for work, or you're doing some weird position with your arm. For example, my father was a dentist, so holding instruments in a weird position with the shoulder. But taking time throughout your day to frequently do full range of motion with your joints, not necessarily stretching, but really respecting the ranges, but exploring the ranges that you do have.
Yeah, I think this is a really big one for anybody that does some kind of activity where during the activity, they're using a lot of range of motion. I mean, think about like somebody who's playing golf. Like that requires a tremendous amount of, motion happening throughout the trunk and throughout most of the joints of their body. Well, if every hour of your day, aside from the time when you're playing golf, is spent in, like spinal neutral, or spent in, a sitting posture, or spent standing perfectly vertical, well, then when you go and play golf, and you're trying to get this whole bunch of range of motion, throughout your trunk and throughout the rest of your body may not really be ready for it, even if it has the capabilities of doing that. So spending some time throughout your day, like Julie said, not necessarily doing like stretches for trunk rotation, but just kind of moving into and out of those positions that you'll be doing during your activities. There's a whole bunch of benefit to that. Additionally, something in activity like swimming with the shoulders, or tennis, anything where you're kind of going way up overhead. I mean, how many times do you really reach up way overhead unless you're trying to grab something off the top shelf, and then all of a sudden you're going to go and play tennis for an hour or whatever, and you're hitting a bunch of overhand serves. That can be really challenging for your joints and for your body when you're not accustomed to doing that. So if you think about the activities that you enjoy doing, and think about maybe the more extreme motions that you do during those activities, incorporating just exploring those motions throughout your day can help your body get prepared to do those activities and for your workouts. So you're better ready to do those, and your likelihood of injuring yourself while you're doing them starts to decrease as well.
So let me give you some specific examples of this. One that Charlie brought up is golf, and that is a very big twisting motion in your core. So if you wanted to do an exercise to prepare your core better than it doing nothing, would be sitting on a chair, sit up with nice posture, and then slowly but fully rotate to the right, and stop when you get to as far as you can rotate without forcing anything, and then go to your left as far as you can without forcing anything. The big thing is not forcing anything, because preparing your body is about having your muscles be prepared. So really respecting your ends is where really that's going to be a big participant. Here's another example. Let's say you are a runner and you want to make sure that your feet stay prepared, and you notice that your ankles often get very taxed during your runs. So something you can do to prepare your ankles would be to do something like calf raises and dorsiflexion, which is like lifting your foot but leaving your heel on the floor. And so you can do it in the same manner, doing the full range of motion of a calf raise, going as high as you can, but not shoving yourself or forcing the end. You're just finding the end, holding for a brief moment, and returning back down till your foot is flat. You can also do that with lifting the front of your foot, which would be more of a dorsiflexion motion, or that shin muscle. So those are two examples. You can apply this to almost any range of motion. The important part is to move with control and really be respectful of your ends. Don't force the ends, which is often what's happening in stretching activities.
Yeah, what's really cool about those foot ones that you were talking about is, last month we talked about different exercises that you can do for your feet, and we put out a 2-Man Tuesdays post about it, and we had a number of people do those exercises and write into us, and actually somebody sent a before and after picture of kind of like their forward folding motion, and just how much the motion increased throughout their hips and throughout their spine when they were just doing these light exercises for their feet. So it was really interesting to see, just kind of adding in these light motions throughout the day. It's not strenuous. You can do it while you're driving. You can do it, sitting on the train. You can do it while you're sitting at your desk. But it's going to get your body better prepared to start to do things that are more strenuous, just by exploring these joint motions and getting the muscles a little bit better connected and working a little bit better, which is actually the next thing that we want to talk to you about.
Great point, Charlie. And I actually alluded to this earlier as well, in that most of the preparedness for your exercise should be should be centered around making sure your muscles are ready and prepared. Because when we exercise, all the health benefits from exercise, well, almost all the health benefits from exercise come from some kind of result of contracting muscle tissue. So when we exercise, there is a huge tax on muscles, which I'm not saying is bad, but it is a tax, right? So we have to make sure that we are recovering and these taxed muscles are prepared and ready to be challenged again. Now, we did talk about some of the exercises, the full range of motion, but today we also wanted to highlight the specialty that we do here called muscle activation techniques. Now, muscle activation techniques is very different than any other technique that I've personally heard of. So I'm not saying there's not another similar one out there, but from what I've seen, it kind of addresses the body in an opposite manner than a lot of other techniques. And because of this, we see some really great results. And the entire goal of muscle activation techniques is to prepare muscle to contract again, which is the best thing you could do to prepare your body to exercise again. So oftentimes when muscles have been overused, underused, meaning you haven't really done much with it, or you've been sedentary for a while, or misused, like been injured or has been stressed in some odd way, muscles lose their ability to contract as well as they could. And when they do that, oftentimes we don't do anything to address it, and then we go into our next workout and we really build in this thing called compensation. And so muscle activation techniques is trying to help these overused, underused, and misused muscles return to their normal ability to contract. When this happens, our body is not only more prepared for exercise, but we also have, I guess I'd like to say, like a more balanced workout, meaning that we're not encouraging compensation, that's a whole conversation in itself, which I think we've had many podcasts on, which we're not going to talk about today, but you probably have some ideas about compensation. It's not the best thing to encourage when we don't need it.
Well, and that's a really big point, this idea of, making sure that your muscles are contracting well. So when you go to work out, the muscles that you're trying to work are actually viable options for your body. I was talking with a client this past week, and he's saying one of his favorite aspects of MAT, of muscle activation techniques, is that it allows him the opportunity to work out really hard without being concerned that is going to be super detrimental for his body, because he's finding that the more he gets MAT, the harder he's able to work out. And then he comes back, he gets tuned up, and then he's able to go out and he's able to keep working out harder again. As opposed to working out hard, having it take a toll on your body, not having a way to really recover very well from that, aside from just taking time off. Now that's more time where you're not working out. That's more time where you're not challenging your body. And then when he does go back to work out, well, his body is not working optimally, because even though it feels recovered, there are still muscles that aren't contracting well. So he goes to work out hard again. And like Julie was saying, now he's just kind of creating more compensation on top of that. So it really is amazing what can happen with your workouts and with the results you get from your workouts when you ensure that your muscles are contracting well before your workouts, during your workouts, and after your workouts. And MAT is the way that we're able to do that here with our clients. And I tell you what, the clients that engage in muscle activation techniques on a consistent basis and then go out and they do their personal training, or they do their workouts on their own, they find that they're able to keep working out consistently. They find that they're able to work out hard consistently, and ultimately they get much better results from their workouts just by spending some time, investing some time into making sure that their body stays working well between their workouts, preparing their body for their next workout. So it's a really big thing.
It is a huge thing, Charlie. And I love the example you gave up with your specific client, but it is not just one client that we've seen, for sure, because this is so common. And I think one of the biggest pushbacks Charlie and I get when we're talking about different ways to exercise, to be more respectful of your body, is that some people view that as not really a good workout. Like, that wasn't a good workout, because a good workout means that, you got the muscle burn, you're sweating, you got your heart rate up. It's this intense endeavor. And so many of us, as I don't want to say age, but I'd like to replace the word age with we've incurred enough overuse, underuse, and misuse of muscle tissue, that we can't handle that kind of intensity anymore. And then we feel that no type of workout is good unless it's like that, right? And one of the biggest things that we use for that is MAT. You know, hey, let's get your body tuned up so that you can operate closer to your max, because if not, you have to operate maybe at 50% for you to not have a hugely negative response, like a shoulder that doesn't function for 3 days or a back that's thrown out for a week. So MAT really does help get your muscles to be able to participate at a higher level, whether that higher level means that you're working out harder, or it means that when you do work out, you're not getting the negative side effects like incredible soreness or joints that are out of service for a couple days. So definitely by getting those muscles working better, you're going to be more prepared for more exercise challenges.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it doesn't matter whether you race in NASCAR or you drive a minivan. Your car has to get tuned up. If you are a NASCAR driver, your car's going to get more tuned up more frequently. If you drive a minivan around town, it may not have to get tuned up as frequently. But in either scenario, it has to get tuned up, because otherwise it's going to break down, and eventually that means that the car won't run. And so if you think about that with your body, like, you have to make sure that your body's getting tuned up. You have to make sure that your muscles are working well. It doesn't matter whether you are a high level athlete or you are, a really intense, workout person, or you're just kind of, doing the bare minimum from an exercise perspective. If you're not getting your body tuned up, eventually your body will break down, and eventually that will cause you to not be able to work out. So to your point, Julie, yeah, it's not just one client, even though I just, gave a testimonial of one client. It's all of our clients that engage in both across the board. That's what they see. The more time they spend getting their muscles ready for their next workout, the better their workouts are, the better the results from their workouts are, and the more consistently they're able to work out. And quite honestly, the better working out feels. Look, working out when your body isn't operating very well doesn't feel that great. It feels way better when your muscles are firing on all cylinders and your body's working the way it's supposed to work. So yeah, you're absolutely right on with that, Julie.
So when we're talking about this, we're not just talking to those of you that love the burn, that love the exercise, that love that muscle squeeze feel, because not all of us out there do enjoy that. But something that we all do have in common is that exercise can improve your quality of life. It can improve your ability to participate in the activities that you want to do. And really, when we think about it, I feel like that's what life's all about. What is our insurance policy so that we get to participate in the activities that we enjoy, whether that's picking up our grandkids today or in 20 years, whether that's, going skiing when you've retired or now, whatever it is, there are activities that we want to be participating in, and we need to insure our body so that it is able to tolerate those things. But maybe you are that person that just is addicted to the gym and love it. That's cool too. But you also have the insurance policy, but you probably already know about it, right? That you have to be doing things to prepare your body so that you can continue to participate in this thing called exercise and working out.
So who do you know that needs to hear this episode? Who do you know that is going from one workout to the next and not really stopping to make sure that their body's recovering or that their body's prepared for their next workout? They're just going through and hoping that they can skate through injury-free without issues. Share this episode with them so they can understand the importance of taking time to make sure that their body recovers well and that their body is prepared for their next workout so they can keep working out for the rest of their life. And while you're online, if you wouldn't mind, head on over to iTunes and leave us a rating and review. It helps people find this podcast who are looking for information on health, who are looking for information on exercise, and who want to know how to exercise to improve their health. So if you wouldn't mind leaving us that rating and review by helping us show up higher, it helps people find this. It helps us spread our message. So if you found value in this conversation today, let us know by leaving us that rating and review. Well, thanks so much for tuning in. We always appreciate it. Have a fantastic week, and we'll talk with you all next week.